I have got 5 pockets to share with you today. Each pocket has a little story, some meaning, and also a purpose. So I thought it would be a nice thing to do to open up the journal, show you my secret places, and show you the techniques that I used to make these 5 pockets, and they are very different, and what I like to store in them. Yes, so let's get going. So I'm going to start off with the easiest pocket first, and this is the floating pocket. And I really love this because you don't need any glue at all. You just need the glue to stick it in to the journal. You don't need any glue for the actual pocket. It's simply a folding exercise. And in fact, it was part of a challenge, a summer challenge, where I painted 2 identical backgrounds and then went off in 2 completely different directions and asking which one you liked best. This was the other picture, same background, same sky, same sun, but a very different picture. Same sort of colours, I suppose, but this one was inspired by a botanical garden I had been to, and this one, this spread, is inspired by Dartmoor. That was just a fun exercise, and I added this floating pocket. I just felt it was a really nice addition. I could balance the picture out by putting another butterfly on the other page. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our second pocket, and I suppose this is probably the second easiest. It's simply a fold, and I'm just going to take these out and I'll talk about what's inside in a minute. So the story here is simply that I wanted to take an old journal that I hadn't really filled up too much and reinvigorate myself, motivate myself again into a new project. So I started a new journal in January, and so I merged and pasted in some of the paintings that I'd done in the old journal that I felt would be in keeping with this. And just by doing that with a couple of pages, well, it inspired me and it got me going. And this is one of those pages that I took from the old journal. Now, I'll show you how I did that in a moment, and you'll see that shortly. But I just want to talk about some of the little treasures that I've got inside. Now, this journal is all about Dartmoor, so I put a map of Dartmoor in there. I thought that would be nice, plus the code for the national park. Don't feed the ponies, they have their own special food, and we have to be careful about that, and make sure your dog is on a lead because there are lots of sheep on Dartmoor. So that's in there. And this, which is very meaningful to me, is an old postcard of a place called Postbridge in Dartmoor. And you can tell that by looking at the back, because the currency on there is pre-decimalisation. So this would have been probably from the 50s and 60s. Now, I don't know how long I've had this, but yes, it's very precious to me. So now we come to our third pocket, and this is what I call the stitched pocket. And I love this particular page. This is another one that was taken from the old journal and merged into this one. Now it's a little bit out of context because we're not into autumn yet. It's still summer, but it's sitting there waiting for me to fill up this page next to it with something nice. Now this little pocket was sewn on a little sewing machine I got. It was actually a child's sewing machine I picked up in a charity shop when I went thrifting, and it was in good working order, and I played around with it, and when I finished with it I gave it back to the charity shop because I felt that maybe a young person might want to have a go on it. So it was repurposed back out there into the charity shop. But when I had it, I had a little bit of fun sewing a pocket, and it looks like fabric, doesn't it? But it wasn't. It was a bit of paper that I painted over. And I had these lovely old tea cards that I've been wondering what to do with for quite a while. The Rowan and the Mountain Ash, very evocative of Dartmoor. And so I tucked those in there. I particularly like this scene. It has very happy memories for me, this place, because it's Hound's Tor on Dartmoor, a place that the writer of Sherlock Holmes, Conan Doyle, was probably inspired by an old myth and legend of Dartmoor about Hound's Tor, because the shape of the rocks look a little bit like hounds, and there's a lot of mythology in that area. So that's a special place, a little secret place. So let me show you how we made this little pocket. Now we come to our fourth pocket, and this does have meaning for me because I had painted this scene up on Dartmoor when I was looking for some of the Dartmoor ponies. I had been up there previously and seen some mares that were in foal, and I thought that perhaps if I went back again, take my paints, I might be able to see whether she'd had her foal. And I wasn't going to get close because that's not a good thing to do. They're wild animals and we need to respect that. But in the course of that, I took my paints up to the top of the moor, and there was a beautiful tree standing all by itself there. And eventually on my way home, I think I saw her, the mare, and she was with a herd. She had wandered down off the mountain. I'm pretty sure it was her, and that was very exciting. And in memory of that lovely time when I saw her on the way home, I just wanted to tuck her in there and remember how beautiful she was, and yes, how lovely the ponies are up there on Dartmoor. So that was very special, and I made this little pocket to tuck her in. So let me show you how I made that one. finally, the last pocket, which I suppose it looks the most complicated, but it really wasn't. It just required a little bit of patience and, yes, a few techniques, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is the pocket here. It's made out of an old playing card. So pocket number 5 is an old playing card that's been repurposed, and I had some little stickers that I stuck in there, and I'm still collecting things for that little pocket. But yes, that was a fun exercise. I used an old napkin, which I've still got a few of these left, and I decoupaged that onto the playing card, and I was happy with the way that turned out. Yes, it was a really fun thing to do as well, so I will show you that one. I said I was sharing 5 pockets today, but there's a little bonus here that I just want to add at the end. And this pocket is probably my favourite. I was very excited early this year when I went up to the moors and I heard my first skylark sing. Yes, that always moves me. When I say that journals, for me, are not just visual, they're also emotional. I think this little bird encapsulates all of that. And I made her a little nest, and her little eggs are tucked away in there. It really is my favourite pocket because it was such a happy memory going up there, hearing the skylark and being very moved by that. and knowing that they were nesting, they're ground nesting birds, and knowing that they were nesting there on those high moors and in peace and quiet and with their little eggs, their little clutch of eggs. And yes, and I came home and I got creating almost straight away. And it was such a great day because I'd actually been initially out there looking for the violets, which I found. So I was very happy about that. And it just so happened that I took a little detour across a field on my way back and I heard the skylark just by chance. I was hoping that I would, and I did. So that made me very happy. So that day was an extremely special day. So there you are, a little bonus pocket. And I'm sharing that with you because, well, as I say, art journaling for me isn't just about the visual, it's also about the emotional connection with the things that you see or want to put in there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and it's giving you a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of motivation to get going if you're a little bit stuck with anything and you fancy having a go at pockets. And if you love making pockets too, then please share below and let me know what you like to do in terms of pockets. Anyway, have a lovely day, a good week, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.